Everyone, so we will be covering the third quiz, chapter 4, section 1 for grade 7, science periodic. Let's start. So which three statements are true about scars and dyed hair? So scars and dyed hair, what are they? I remember a lot of people, they dye their hair from brown to pink or brown to blonde. That does not mean that will be passed on to their kids. So if your mother or your father has dyed their hair, the original color was black, jet black, and they colored their hair to blonde. So that does not mean that it will pass on to your brothers or it will pass on to your sisters or to you. So what is that called? That's called an acquired trait. They're not controlled by genes. No, they're not. This is true. And they cannot be passed to offsprings. Yes, that's also true. They are present since birth. No. And they're inherited traits. No. So they cannot be passed on. Like I said, blonde hair won't be passed on to you or to your siblings. They're not controlled by genes. If they were, then you would have blonde hair. And the acquired trait is that you have received it from the environment or you've learned it. So that's what acquired means. Sorry, I didn't choose the options. Okay, they're not present since birth. They cannot be passed on to. They're not present. They are acquired traits. Next one, eye color, skin color, and hair color are all inherited traits. Which two statements are not correct to our inherited traits? Now keep in mind, inherited traits are, they're determined by your genes. So if they're determined by your genes, it means that they're going to be passed on from your parents to the offsprings. So the first statement is true. Let's put a true here. They want to tell us that which are not correct. So the false ones. They're determined by genetic code. That's true also. They're learned during the lifetime. No, they're not. So this is false, right? They're not learned. The inherited traits are not learned during lifetime. They can be controlled by one or many genes. That's for inherited trait. That's true. Because remember in your ebook, there is actually an example they give about cats. So there is a gene that controls their eye color, which is blue, their fur, which is white, and their hearing as well. So keep in mind, one gene can it can show or represent a lot of traits. So they acquired during lifetime. That's also false. So what are the two? They are acquired and can be learned during lifetime. Now, offspring they have half of the genetic material from their mother and half from their father. The best way to determine two organisms related to compare their DNA. If you compare anything else, hair color, a lot of people have brown hair. A lot of people are short. A lot of people, like in your class itself, you have a lot of people that have the age of 15. That does not mean that you're siblings or you're related. So DNA is the best way to go forward when you're looking for if someone is related. Circle the terms that represent the different form of genes. And now remember, your genes, this is your DNA. I'll just represent it like this, not perfect, but this is your genes. And the different variation of the genes. So the hair color, brown and blonde, eye color, blue and brown, all of these are alleles. For the same genes, they're different they have variation. So those are your alleles. Circle the type of trait that's developed by interacting with the environment that's acquired. Remember, you're learning something. It cannot be passed on, like reading. It's an example given in your book. So it's like reading. You cannot pass it on to your kids. They have to learn how to read as well. That's acquired. Now, a segment of what? A segment of DNA molecule that contains genetic information for a inherited trait. Inherited means passed on from your parents to you. It is a gene. So remember, what do they pass on? They pass on genes. You'll read about that in meiosis as well. How those genes or how that DNA is being passed on to the offspring. So through the gametes. So a trait can be passed on from parents to offspring is called inherited trait. Sorry, this one. Now a dash segment of dash. So genes are segments of DNA that code for certain traits, right? So all of these genes, they have different traits. DNA calls up into a chromosome. Remember, so if you have a gene, it will have different alleles. So alleles or alleles, whatever way you like to pronounce this. So this is the hair color, right? For maybe you can say blonde. And then the other one is brown. In the same location of the genes, they have two different alleles. This will be, let's say, BR brown. So this trait, whatever shows, remember that's like a longer in the ebook is that whatever is dominant will be shown in your in the child, if the brown is dominant or the blonde is dominant. So those are the traits that will be shown in the child. Okay, sorry, just take a minute. Okay, here, when a sperm carrying a what? An X chromosome read it ahead first completely. When a sperm carrying a dash chromosome fertilizes an egg, the resulting zygote has two X chromosomes, is a female. The next one, when sperm carrying a dash chromosome fertilizes an egg, so that it will be Y. The resulting zygote contains X chromosomes and Y chromosomes, is a male. The next one, a characteristic of a living thing is called a trait, such as eye color or freckles are inherited. Remember, eye color and freckles are inherited. So the passing of genetic information from parents to offspring is called. And traits are passed from parents to offspring through genes. Thanks again. Please don't forget to subscribe, and you can ask any questions in the comments. Okay, let's just give it a minute. Now here, Rami cells contain both X and Y sex chromosomes. Which parent's gamete provide Rami with each of the chromosomes? Choose the answer. So X, of course, he's a male, so is obtained from the mother's egg, and the Y is from the father's. Okay. So thank you for your time. Please don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching. Good luck for your exam tomorrow.